Once upon a time, in a small village by the sea, there lived a young man named Marcus. He was not the strongest or the smartest, but he had one thing that set him apart: his burning desire to become a great shipbuilder. The problem was, Marcus had no money, no tools, and no teacher. Many told him his dream was impossible. But Marcus had heard of Stoic philosophy, and he decided to use its principles to crush his goals, no matter what stood in his way. The first Stoic principle Marcus embraced was the idea of focusing only on what he could control. He couldn't control the fact that he had no money, or that no one would teach him. But he could control his own actions. Every morning he walked to the shore and studied the ships that came into the harbor. He watched how they were built, how the wood was shaped, how the sails were set. He asked sailors questions, even if they laughed at him. He collected driftwood and practiced carving small models of boats with a simple knife. He did this every single day, no matter the weather. One day, a storm destroyed several fishing boats in the village. The fishermen were desperate. They needed repairs fast, but the nearest shipbuilder was far away. Marcus saw his chance. He approached the men and said, "I have been studying ships. Let me try to help." They doubted him, but they had no choice. Marcus worked day and night using the little knowledge he had. His hands bled from the rough wood, his back ached from bending over, but he refused to quit. The Stoics taught him that obstacles were not barriers. They were opportunities to grow stronger. When the boats were finally repaired, the fishermen were amazed. Word spread, and soon Marcus was given small jobs. He still made mistakes, but he didn't let failure discourage him. The Stoics believed that failure was just feedback, a way to learn. Instead of complaining, Marcus studied his errors and improved. Over time, his skill grew. But then, a new challenge came. A wealthy merchant arrived in the village, looking for someone to build a large trading ship. The other shipbuilders in nearby towns laughed when they heard Marcus wanted to try. They said he didn't have the experience. Marcus felt fear creeping in, but he remembered another Stoic lesson. Fear is just a feeling, not a fact. He could feel afraid and still take action. So he approached the merchant and said, "Give me a chance. If I fail, you lose nothing. If I succeed, you gain a great ship." The merchant agreed. Marcus now faced his biggest test. The work was harder than anything he had done before. There were days when he wanted to give up. But Stoicism had taught him the power of discipline, of doing what must be done, even when it was hard. He broke the enormous task into small steps. Instead of thinking about the whole ship, he focused on one plank, one nail, one rope at a time. Months passed. Finally, the ship was ready. When the merchant saw it, he was speechless. It was strong, beautiful, and perfectly crafted. From that day on, Marcus became known as one of the best shipbuilders in the land. But he never forgot the Stoic principles that had carried him there. Years later, an old man asked him, "What was the secret to your success?" Marcus smiled and said, "I stopped worrying about things I couldn't change. I embraced every obstacle as a teacher. I did the work, no matter how I felt, and I never let fear decide my future." This is the power of Stoicism. It doesn't promise an easy life, but it gives you the tools to crush your goals, no matter how impossible they seem. Like Marcus, you too can build your own ship, if you have the courage to start, the discipline to continue, and the wisdom to learn from every storm.